Hi, I'm Scott Cusey, and welcome to Car Care Seminar. You know, we're going to be doing some auto body repairs during this tape, and doing your own auto body repairs really aren't that difficult with our help, and if you take your time. Right now, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the tools that we'll be using throughout this tape, but you're going to have a basic starting place, like screwdrivers, wrenches, hammers, pliers, things like that, like we have right back on the wall. But now, during this chapter, we're going to concentrate talking a little bit about some of the specialty items we'll be using throughout the tape and some of the specialty tools to help the job go quicker and easier. During Chapter 2, we'll demonstrate how easy it is to remove and repair a dent on your vehicle. During Chapter 3, we're going to actually look at picking out and removing some rust and making a full repair of a rusted out area. During Chapter 4, we'll take a look at the procedures that we call color sanding and buffing that really finish the job off nice and make the repair complete. But for now, let's spend just a couple of minutes talking about some of the body repair supplies and the tools that we'll be using throughout this tape. Now, your final results are only as good as your surface preparation, and if you follow that to the T, your repairs will turn out successfully. Now, one of the ways I like to start all my auto body repairs is by simply washing the vehicle up with good car wash soap and a bucket and some sponges. Make sure it's clean before you start. Also, before you do any priming or painting, you want to make sure that you're using a wax and grease remover or general adhesive remover like this so the surface is clean, and that'll make sure that your primer and paint will adhere to that surface. Now, you're going to need various sanding supplies, from coarse and fine sandpapers to sanding blocks, a contour sanding kit I like to have, and also here's a sticky back disc attachment that goes right onto your drill, which works pretty nice for sanding areas and really can be a time saver if you've got a lot of repairs to do. Now, whenever you are sanding, once again, make sure you've got a dust respirator and some safety goggles on to protect your eyes and your lungs from all that sanding dust, and also make sure you work in a well-ventilated area. One of the tools we'll be using a little bit later on the tape is a slide hammer type of tool that's used for pulling dents out of a vehicle. Now, oftentimes they come with a hook on them like this to hook maybe the edge of a fender, or they come with a little screw that mounts in here, which is the type that we'll use to pull out the dent and reshape the metal before using auto body filler on it. Now, once you come to using auto body filler, here's a few choices that you have. You can use a fiberglass repair kit like this that works real well, or you can use a kit like this that is auto body filler and get some backup screen, because you're going to need something, especially in a rust out area, to kind of reshape that area and something to hold the body filler to your repaired area. So that's certainly one method you can use. And once you've got it basically roughed out, that's what you're going to use with this filler or the body repair kit in the fiberglass form. You're going to want to get some lightweight body filler to do kind of your final contouring and shaping of the area. This works really nice, and it's a little bit easier to sand when it comes to doing those fine-tuning adjustments that you'll have to do during body repairs. Lastly, you're going to be using some glazing putty. Only make sure that you're putting this on a 1/16 of an inch thick or less. So this is really only made to fill in some of the minor scratches that you've left from your sanding. So, but is definitely something that you're going to need for a good-looking repair. Now, you're going to need primer and paint, of course, and a tack cloth for removing some of the impurities before you're doing your painting and priming, and the selection of fine cut and medium cut cleaners and new car glazes that are necessary to restore the shine to the finish once you've got the surface painted. Once you've got the shine restored, make sure you wax the whole vehicle and protect that finish also. There's a couple different styles of cleaning and polishing pads here. This one here works well for final polishing, and this one here is the typical type that you see with kind of a lamb's wool type bonnet, and once again has the arbor back here to simply attach it right into your electric drill, so it makes that final polishing go a lot quicker and easier. Now, whenever I'm doing a repair on any vehicle, I like to make sure I have a manual to help guide me through those procedures. And a lot of times these manuals can really save you some time when it comes down to doing the actual repair. And this style of manual even has a section in auto body repairs. So definitely think about getting a manual before you start your repairs. Which brings to mind, before you do your next repair, also check to make sure if there's a car care seminar tape available to help you do the job the right way the first time and every time. I'd like to congratulate you for choosing Car Care Seminar to help you become a better do-it-yourselfer. And right now, we're going to get started with our first repair. The items you will need to repair a dent include a wash bucket and car wash, a wax and grease remover or adhesive cleaner, masking tape and newspaper, assorted sandpaper of various grits, a sanding pad and sanding block, safety glasses or goggles, a dust respirator, a shop vacuum or air blower, an auto body hammer, a dent puller and drill, an auto body filler kit and spreader, glazing or spot putty, a tack cloth, and spray primer and the matching paint for your vehicle. Some optional tools include a dual orbital or DA sander and a drill equipped with a grinding disc. Randy, what do you have to show us here today?
Well, Scott, looks like we got a pretty good dent in this panel here, probably caused from a parking lot. Somebody opening their door.
And then you end up with a dent like that. I notice the crease of the dent goes across this body line. How's that going to affect our repair?
Well, this is going to make it a little more difficult, but we will have to restore this body line through here.
Okay. Now, we've already washed off the vehicle. You've got another additional step you like to perform.
I'd like to go back and put some wax and grease remover on here to remove any excess wax, grease, or tar.
Okay. If you're doing your repair at home, just make sure you wash her off real good with hot soapy water if you don't have a wax and grease remover like we're using here. All right, where do we go next?
I would like to tape off this molding to protect it from the grinder.
Okay. If there's any molding or any pinstriping as such up here that is near the area that you're going to be grinding or sanding off, make sure you put a couple of layers of masking tape over it to protect it. And we're basically ready to start grinding. Notice you got a power air grinder there that you're going to use. How coarse is the disc you're using on that grinder?
I think we'll start out with a 24 grit disc.
Okay, that's basically to remove the outer layers of paint and get it right down to the bare metal, actually, correct?
Correct, and we want to follow this with going around the area a little bit further than just what the damaged area is.
Okay, if you don't have a power grinder at home, you can do the same area by hand. We're going to obviously use the grinder to speed up our repair a little bit. The other thing I want to mention is if you're using any power tool or grinding or sanding, make sure you wear a protective dust respirator like this here. And also, whenever you're using power tools, make sure you wear safety glasses. Why don't we get started here, Randy?
One thing I want to add is that with the grinder, we're going to produce a lot of heat, and the heat will distort the metal. So we want to stop and make sure that we aren't getting the panel too hot.